Yeah, thank you. So I'm a little bit nervous because I don't have much experience like doing this. I told my friends I was going to do this joke like, I'm so nervous, I'm going to faint, but I'm fine. So I prepared like this slides last night on my phone for this presentation. Like, don't pay attention to what I wrote because this is mainly like for me to have like a little structure of what I want to say. Just focus on the pictures. This is why I wrote photos because I used photos like of my art to illustrate like all the slides for you to start getting into this vibe of what my art or my project or my craft is. So what else I wrote? I wrote thank you. I wanted to thank like Michal for inviting me and all the Reflector Collective for hosting like this event. I thought it was really cute and I felt honored to be invited. That someone finds like my project interesting. That's one of the reasons why I do what I do. So I'm very thankful about it. Then I wrote like name. Nika, that's my name. That's the artist name that I chose for this project in particular. This is how most of my friends were calling me when this project started, actually here in Berlin. And it's a way like of honoring and embracing like my feminine side, if that makes sense to you. My feminine side that is like more colorful, that is more brave, and that is more free to be able to carry on like with a project like this. So I really wanted to mention this to you all. Even though I like my real name though, I don't have a problem with my real name. I like it, but I wanted like to clarify this for some reason. You decide. And photos are already set, so we can move to the second slide. If you get bored, you can tell me. I can do like a little dance. So just let me know and I'll start. So second slide, oh my gosh, background. Ooh, I have to travel to the past. So I am from Salta. This is a city in the north of Argentina. It's called actually Salta la Linda, which means Salta the Beautiful. It's really lovely. If you have the opportunity to visit Argentina or South America, I recommend you to go there. This is where I grew up. And this is where I start having like my first contact with creative expression or art. I have very like vivid memories when this happened, you know. So I wanted to mention this as well. My childhood and all that, that's from a different talk. So we're gonna leave Salta there and we're gonna move to Buenos Aires. I moved to Buenos Aires, the capital city of Argentina, when I turned 19. I had the possibility there to study graphic design and I started experimenting at the beginning with photography. I bought like a used analog camera and I started doing like some portraits, mainly of my girlfriends. So this is like where my first contacts like with artistic expression in a way. And this is where I started also like, you know, getting into like this trash concept. Actually, a lot of my friends back in the day were calling me Nika Trash or Nicolás, Nico Trash, you know, because Nika Trash or Nico Trash, both. Because my name is Nicolás, so Nico Trash made sense. And the way I did this was like I had like my first phone like with a camera, and I used to love like taking pictures of this urban city. Buenos Aires is like a big urban city, you know, and these situations where, you know, like accumulated trash from the street, like textures, colors. So at the beginning, I started to experiment like taking pictures of this with my phone. I'm mentioning this because this kind of like evolved into this project that I'm going to talk to you about next. Uh, I wrote friend support because this is key also, and this is something that repeats in the different. How did I call this? Like slides that I did, because for me it's something very important to mention. Sorry, something very important to mention like this. You know, to have people around you that believe in you, that encourage you. So it happened already back then in Buenos Aires that I had like really dear friends of mine until today that supported and believed in my vision. So I started like organizing my first like photo exhibitions and having like a little contact with with the art worlds, you know. So yeah. Slide number 2, check, yeah. Next. So the project. So now I'm gonna focus like on this project in particular that brings me here today. So what I do is like I make collages, like Michal said on the introduction. I make collages with trash or this like forgotten materials that I find while walking around Berlin. Berlin is like the perfect city to do this. Like I have a lot of materia prima, we would say in Spanish, like I've been, for example, like to Iceland, and I'm like, oh my God, I wouldn't be able to do anything here. You know, it was like so clean. But there's always something, you know. So Berlin was a big part of, like a big source of inspiration for this project. Exactly. But I wonder also, though, like for the future, I'm going to talk about this later, but how it would be like if I would live in another city, how if the trash will be different, you know, how it would affect like my project. And I'm excited like to experiment that. There's always something, let me tell you, even in Iceland, you know, I've seen like some stuff there. Like you get your eye like more sharp if you do what I do, which I don't think you do, but okay. So my project started in Berlin in 2021. I was living back in the day in a container community. They were shipping containers repurposed in like a piece of land. It was like a very particular place. I wanted to mention it because it was like a really big inspiration for me back in the day. To live there and to be surrounded by artists like doing their own thing. It was like a big motivation for me to start this project. And like also like what was in my mind back in the day was like, what can I do like artistically, like optimizing like my resources, you know, like what I have around me, you know, because normally like art, you say, okay, I paint in oil without, I mean, you need to buy the oil, you need to buy the canvases, you know. So back in the day when the project started, it was like, what can I do artistically, like optimizing like my resources. I had a few frames at home. And I don't know, just the idea came out. You know, I don't know if there is an explanation for that, but it's just like it happened and I started doing, and I was also looking forward creating something like with my own hands. So remember, 2021, we were in Corona times. So I think that also has to do with the, why are you laughing? Ah, no, I'm joking. This has also had to do with the beginning of my project, I mean. And I wanted to do something like with my own hands, something like tangible, without my phone, without a computer, you know. I wanted to have the freedom like to create something with my own hands. So, why are you laughing also? So yeah, that's why I wrote tangible. You see, like to make something tangible, that you have an idea and materialize it like in something that you can touch. I don't know. That was one of my purposes back in the day. I also wrote La Marginale. This was like also like a big, this was like my Beginning Point, La Marginale was a collective that we created like in parallel, that I was living in the containers with artists. In parallel, I built like a community of Latin friends, Latin American friends living in Berlin. You know, when you live abroad and you are from the same country or from Latin, you became like closer, you become like closer somehow living abroad. So luckily I was able like to build this community for myself, and we got together and we decided like, okay, we all have an artistic background. Why don't we get together and we do some arts together, you know, like organize an event, you know, and we did amazing things with La Marginale that I'm so proud of. And this was like the beginning, you know, like we had our first exhibition. So my contribution was like these small collages from this idea that I've been working on. So I did like my first collages to show at the first exhibition that we organized with La Marginale, with the art collective, which I think it was really important, like on my art journey here in Berlin. So yeah, this is like how the project started. And third slide, yeah. So next slide. Next slide, I wanted to talk to you about like the art, about my art practice itself, because I think like it's interesting. So there are like two like periods in my creative process. The first period is like the collection of the trash, you know. Luckily, I've incorporated this as part of like my daily routine or like my lifestyle. Like for example, I go walking to work and I'm already like, hey, you know, like I curate like what I collect already, like in my mind. This is what I want to show you. So I'm carrying in my backpack always like this pouch. So I'm walking around like, oh my, it's not that I go to just to collect, it's just part of when I'm walking around. I see these pieces of plastic that call my attention and I pick it up and I put it here. Look, I found like this card recently that looks very cool. Let's see what I make with it. So yeah, there is this collection part that I have it incorporated as my daily life. And then there is like the creation part, which is the challenge. I think like a lot of people can relate with me in the way that, I don't know, we're so addicted to our phones nowadays. I feel like I have to force myself sometimes to find the time to sit down and materialize my ideas. Like this is my own personal challenge. I think like every artist have their own challenge, or some artists like they don't have a problem like sitting down and doing their art. For me, it's like a challenge, but a challenge that I love, and then when I take it and when I see the result, it gives me like really a lot of satisfaction. So it's like a really nice challenge that I want to have like in my life. So yeah, this is like basically my creation process. Sometimes I write down ideas and then I materialize, and it varies like my creation. Sometimes I create based on a frame that I found. Sometimes I create based on an idea that I have. Sometimes I create based on the trash that I found. Like this changes from piece to piece. I try to remain like, I try to free my mind a little bit when I create. That's why I wrote like inner child. I try to connect like with my inner child, like just to, you know, have fun and create freely without any rules. But I try to balance this like with my OCD and like with balance itself, you know, like when you create an art piece, it has to be like balanced, you know. So it is a struggle between my inner child and my OCD, and then the piece is the result of it. So this, and I wrote perseverance. Is it well written?
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Because I think this is key, like from any art practice, you know. I think in perseverance is perseverance is success. Perseverance equals success, in my opinion, you know. So, what?
I agree.
Ah, yes. So that's why I wrote like perseverance here, like as part of like my art practice. Like I said, it's the project started like making like really small collages, like from frames that I had at home, and perseverance made it possible that I made like really big pieces and that I've produced a lot, and this really helped a lot like my project to grow, and that's why I'm here basically. For example, you know, it opened like a lot of doors to me, and I'm going for more. So this is more like an advice, if I may. Um, yeah, this perseverance in whatever you put your mind on doing. Slide number, I'm not done yet. Conclusion, yes, this is the final slide.
Yeah, but it's good to stay sober.
And how's the time? That was the key. Oh my God. So conclusion, why I do what I do? Because I have fun with it, because it keeps me motivated, because it gives like a certain structure to my life that I need at the moment. Because it opens doors, like I mentioned before, and because it gives me satisfaction, like for an idea to be materialized, like in a tangible thing, like I said before. Uh, yeah, lifestyle. Like I said before, also I want to incorporate this as part of my lifestyle. I want always to be there, like to do something creative. I want always to be part of my life. And I'm hoping like this, like a challenge that I'm facing is that this can be like a sustainable career. You know, I'm hoping I can live from it eventually, or because I didn't mention this before, because I don't do art like professionally. I've always had like a side job. I think like a lot of artists can relate to this. But I'm hoping that it can, in the future, like represent like a sustainable career for me. What I want to do in the future is like, yeah, this more diversify my practice. Now I'm doing like some videos incorporating my art as part of the set. This motivates me as well. So I want to experiment new things. I also want to work with kids in the future, if it's possible. Like workshops and whatever can flourish from that. And I wrote thank you again because I want to be very thankful to my friends, like I said before, that always like support me. I have 3 of my friends here supporting me. This means a lot to the people that bought art from me. There's also like means a lot. Whatever contribution like to my project means a lot to me. So I wanted to be very thankful about it. So to end, I just added like a few pictures of my favorite artworks. This is like a really big one. Actually, this is framed already. It's like 1 meter by 90. It's like a very big artwork. I loved how it turned out. So I wanted to share it. I have these 2 others as well that I really liked. I want to share some pictures of the concrete thing that I do, you know, for you to have an idea. Everything is collected from the street one by one. I'm really true to my project in this aspect. I don't cheat. I don't use my own garbage. This 2 as well, I really love. And well, I added in the end like really big my Instagram for you to follow me. If you want to see more of my work, to recommend me, go for it. I'm not seeing like you going into your phones right now, but okay. And finally, I just brought like a small one to share if you can pass it around, because I always say that it's a different experience to see the pictures of my work and to see like the live thing. So I brought a small one for you to see it, and I will pass it around for you to have like the live experience of my artwork. So yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Here you go. You can see.